let's get into
my next book.
Yeah,
okay,
next book.
So speaking of instructional, there are times where so I'm a music. Speaking of music, I'm a music nerd. You know this. So, Dilla, if you're a hip hop person, Jay Dilla is your favorite producer. He is an all-time god. All that stuff taken from us too soon. Still feel his effects in popular music today. But there is a book called Dilla Time by Dan Charnas, who is a professor at NYU. But I was familiar with him through his different writing for different music publications. But he started teaching at NYU. And because I have a music background, like I learned theory and all of that, I was an instrumentalist at some point. It was not only it scratched two parts of my brain that I hadn't scratched in a long time. One was musical theory and how it's practical, and one was about Jay Dilla's life. It's part biography, part chronicle of hip hop history, because honestly it is, and a lot of it is music dictation theory, which I hadn't studied since when I was at the Royal Conservatory learning piano. I always loved the practical stuff, like if you know, you know, but there's like the grades, and then you have your tests, you have your exams. So there's two parts to it. There is the notation part, and then there's the practical where you have an ear test. I killed the fucking ear test because I'm like, let me just play the things. The technical stuff where I was like, oh my God, I hate this. But that's just how my brain works. But seeing it written, the way that he explains as to why Dilla is one of the greatest producers of all time through notation theory is so fucking clever that you're just like, God damn. Even if you don't understand dictation theory, you don't know what the difference between the musical notes looks like. But I do, because I studied it. And so I'm just like, I see it. And when I read stuff, I visualize. And so seeing the notes written out to some of my favorite beats and songs, I'm like, holy fuck. I love it all over again. I've heard these songs for the last 20. When did I get into, I really got into hip hop probably around university. I was dating a couple guys at the time who were real hip hop heads. One was actually a producer, and they both introduced me to the production side of hip hop. I knew all the radio stuff already because my sister is 5 years older than me. Most of my cousins are Gen X or boomers. They were fully in hip hop. I have cousins in Brooklyn who were around when Nas and Jay-Z were just coming up.
That's crazy.
So I've been involved in that. But even just realizing what it meant to me as a person a music lover, that book is fantastic. If you love hip hop, you need to read it. But if you are also just it's a good chronicle of his life and how much of a genius he was. But also how messed up he was. He was a messed up dude. He didn't treat people very well. He had kids. He didn't treat them well. He didn't treat his girlfriends well. His family, his mother and all that, yeah, they were good. But, his whole family dynamic is interesting too, because they're basically Detroit royalty. Even the story of Ma Dukes, you hear about Ma Dukes all the time if you listen to Dilla, if you're a Dilla head. But the story of her, I didn't know anything about her until I read her story. So that's I think it might be one of my all-time favorite books at this point. But it's really, really good. It's a good, even the way that he talks about how it permeates throughout different types, not just hip hop, but he talks about the White Stripes. He talks about house music. He talks about rock. He talks about different aspects of pop culture that imitate the stuff that he set out. Even when beats aren't just on the beat, no one did that until Dilla did. And everyone from every genre copies that. So his legacy will live on forever and ever and ever. It's a fantastic book, fantastic writing, but the music notation and all of that, woo, so good.
And it was called what? The book was called what again?
Dilla Time.
Dilla Time. Dope.
Yeah.